All right, people, what the hell is going on? It is Monday morning here, and this is my uh, Talking Texans, Jaguars, Texans video post media. I did my regular video yesterday. This is my one post media after and this is something that's starting to piss me off, and I had to kind of dig back in my memory and kind of remember that I only watch certain member stuff. Sometimes I sit around bored, you're looking for stuff to watch on YouTube and there ain't much, so you start going on all these little different shows and podcasts and stuff like that that's talking about the Texans and all this other stuff, and kind of remind myself of why I don't watch everybody. Everybody got their opinions and all this other stuff, but some of the shit that I hear is just ridiculous, And these are from professionals, people that cover the team, people that actually make a living, make their money by being online talking about the team. And my first reaction to a lot of this stuff, especially now that the Texans are 0-3 and the offense is playing like poop-a-doop, you know what I'm saying? With like no signs of life ever, like just these motherfuckers they talking, they like upset, which is probably how I sound when I do my videos. But I mean, they are upset. Like, do you have equity in the team? You just cover the team. You make your money. You do your thing by just talking about the goddamn team. Win or fucking lose. You hop your ass online, or you go to the stadium. You ask little questions for the little professionals that's up there, the little credentialed media folks who aren't that goddamn critical, because they got to actually talk to these people, so they don't say real ridiculous stuff like some of the podcast people do. And I'm like, do you have equity in the team? Are you part owner, or do you lose money when they losing? If you betting on the games, that's your fucking fault. But still, why are you so upset? You know what I'm saying? Why you sounding so upset? Because most of the stuff they say is so goddamn inflammatory, it makes no damn sense at all. And I'm sitting here watching this shit, and it's pissing me off. And I'm just like, what? Why are you mad? Why are you mad? I seen a couple of guys hop on here talking about the little Yankees hat thing that the Seattle Mariners hat thing came and went, and now he come up here with the Yankees hat on, and that's a whole nother tizzy about that. Who the fuck cares? Who the hell cares? Well, apparently it's a lot of people who actually do care. Why do they care? Because they don't fucking have a life. It's a bunch of no-lifers and a bunch of low IQ people out there that are upset because this man is wearing a fucking New York Yankees hat at the press conference. Grown-ass man. Y'all not buying his clothes. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not buying his clothes, and I'm pretty sure that dude got a hat for every goddamn team in the MLB. If he wanted to, he can wear a hat from every damn team. From here over the next couple seasons, just a different damn hat other than the Astros hat. It just, why? Why does it matter? There's people that hop up there don't have no branded gear on at all. You know what I'm saying? People hop up there, they don't have no Texans gear on, no Texans hat, no Texans nothing. You don't say he ain't got nothing Texans on. He just up here in regular ass clothes. Why the hell? Why would he do that? Why would he not come up there with a Texans t-shirt and a Texans hat on or some shit like it? Man can wear what the hell he want. And then, it's a, guys out there that agree with me. Like, what the hell does it matter? Why the hell do you care? And then I've seen a couple folks where they just like, why would you do that? Blah, 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 blah. Even some a guy that I watch all the time, he was upset about it, but his point, at least his point made a little bit more sense. But I still disagree with it. I don't give a damn how well the Texans are playing. I don't give a because me, and I am not a professional athlete. I'm not a professional athlete. But I go up there and I just happen to put on me a hat, boop, and I go up there and somebody got a problem with it, and it start, you know what? Now I'm always gonna wear another hat. Now, because that ain't got nothing to do with what's going on the field. That ain't got nothing to do with what's going on the field. Now I'm gonna wear a different hat every time I come up here. I'm gonna wear every damn hat from every non-football team, because that's the only thing that I would be like, okay, what the hell are you doing if you came up there with another football? Now, there's some instances where you would do that, because I started thinking about it. I was like, okay, now, if he came up there with another football team hat on, then okay, you might got some explaining to do why you would do that. It's only a few reasons why I would think you would wear another football team's hat. And that would be because somebody that you knew associated with another team had something going on or passed away or something like that. So you just happen to wear that, you put that hat on to commemorate whatever that is. And that was just that, you know what I'm saying? If you got a reason for it, you got a reason for it. You don't even have to explain it to people. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody got to be held accountable. And that's one of the things that get me. People always wonder why these players hop up here, and because ain't nobody finna tell you nothing worth telling. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody finna tell you nothing worth telling. The credential media people know this. They get paid to go up there and ask the damn questions that you know you not finna get no answers to. All them people that go up there and talk to these people in the locker room, and talk to these people in the press conferences, know 80% of the time you not finna get no information that you didn't guess that you was gonna get already. You know what I'm saying? You're not finna break no news. You're not. They know that. But my point is, you're not finna get nothing out of these people and blah, 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 blah. And folks be wondering why some of these players be pissy. You got CJ Stroud come up here because that's who they gonna focus on, because if you just go by what you see on the media and whatnot, don't nobody else talk to the goddamn media other than, everybody else they catch in the locker room. The only person you catch at the podium in the press conference and shit is CJ Stroud. But it's all the same. No matter who you talk to, they just gonna tell you some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But my point is like this. These people are forced to talk to you. Now, they got a choice. But ain't nobody trying to have their goddamn bank account drained because they not talking to the media. CJ Stroud got to go up there and answer all these stupid ass questions. Answer all these stupid ass questions knowing that he don't want to go up there to start with. That's only, and you got to think, this man in the game, blah, blah, blah. He playing, he doing whatever he do. The Texans ain't playing well right now, and most of the shit is on offense. If he make some shit happen on the offensive side, he throw an interception or some shit like that happen, and it's just, okay, now I got to hit this shit. I mean, in the middle of the game, it's going through their fucking head at some point. You go sit down on the sideline, and you like, I gotta hit this shit. You parade, you know what I'm saying? You take your players and you parade them out in front of the fucking public and have people just grill them on bullshit that happened in the goddamn game. And then if they act pissy and shit like that because they just lost, Because a lot of these people, they are not in a good goddamn mood when they lose. And then they forced to go up there and answer a bunch of damn questions about people questioning what they doing on the field. Now just imagine if you could, and they can't tell you much of shit. Only thing you can do is tell that they don't want to be up there. Now imagine if you did that shit and there wasn't no restrictions on what the fuck they can tell you. Well, what they would probably tell you wouldn't have nothing to do with football and a whole bunch of shit to do with your mama. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how it would be if I had to go up there and there wasn't no restrictions and I ain't got to worry about motherfuckers pulling money out of my account or getting fined for saying some weird ass shit. Yeah, you gonna ask me questions, I'm just... I would just go the hell off. I would just go the hell off, and a lot of times that wouldn't even matter whether it was a good game or a bad game. I don't want to tell y'all shit. Watch the games. Because I'm listening to all this stuff. They hear CJ Stroud say this. They hear CJ Stroud say that. And they talk about his body language and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. What's going on in his head during the goddamn game. And you don't know none of that. You don't know none of that. You don't know what's going through this man's mind as he's talking to you on the podium. You don't know what's going through this man's mind as he's sitting down on the sideline. You don't know what's going on in that man's mind when he out there on the field. You ask them, they know. Give a damn if you play football. You don't know that. You know what's going on in your mind, but you don't know what's going on in his. These motherfuckers know so much. Why the fuck is you sitting here running your goddamn mouth trying to make $3 or $4 on the goddamn super chat instead of somewhere in somebody's organization pulling in 6 figures a year doing something goddamn productive? Why? You know, it's stuff like that gets me. Why I stop watching the shit? Because you get so many things. I'm watching, and what they talking about? They was talking about the hat, and then the next thing they started talking about was the fumble. That Nico Collins. And one of the first things that I noticed is that they started trying to separate. The first thing they're going to do is they going to compare it to the Ogunbowale fumble from the Rams game. And then they're going to try to differentiate the two. And they just going to differentiate the two because one is Nico Collins and the other one is fucking Ogunbowale. I'm not a fan of Ogunbowale. I'm one of those people, I'm like, why the fuck is he on the team to start with? They don't say nothing about the play he made before that. You know what I'm saying? They ain't say nothing about the play he made before that. You know, they mention that play, blah, blah, blah. You get a run up the field, he dive forward, he get hit, they punch the ball out, he fumble the ball. Trying to do too much. Blah, 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 blah. And they say the same thing about, and they said somewhat the same thing about Nico Collins, but they kind of forgave him for it because he's Nico Collins. Nico Collins catch the ball, he kind of break loose, try to head upfield, dude reach around behind him and punch the ball out. Shit fucking happens. It ain't like Ogunbowale fumble the ball all the goddamn time. I don't remember ever seeing him fumble the ball, even though you don't never hardly see him with it. And somebody brought it up. I was like, that's his only time. This is only second, all this time in the league. That's like his second time fumbling the ball. You know what they said about Nico Collins? Same goddamn thing. That was only all his time in the league. That was his only second time ever fumbling the ball. I could see if that was some shit that happens quite often. Because there's people like that just have a hard time holding on to the football for whatever reason. Where they'll have fumble a ball fucking 5-6 times in the season or some shit. And then you got these two guys that fumble the ball twice in the goddamn career. But they give Nico Collins a little bit of a pass. Next thing, but Agumbawale ain't damn near played since then. Even though I don't want to see him playing on the offense. I don't. But he wasn't doing nothing to hurt the offense since then. The only thing, he had that shitty pass protection during the goddamn during the Buccaneers game. That was quite bad, and he damn sure didn't get no more playing time. I don't even think he got in the game on offense against the Jaguars. But they go with that double standard shit. Nico Collins is fine. Gumbawale, not fine. They did the same fucking thing. They caught the ball. They tried to make a play. Another player punched the ball out. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just like a oops, I fumbled a goddamn ball type of shit. No, it was a motherfucker went whap and hit the goddamn ball like they were supposed to do, and the ball came out. That shit is gonna fucking happen. And there was a double standard on that shit. Like I said, I ain't a fan of Gumbawale, but you know, don't just start judging people the same different based on their star power. They both did the same goddamn thing. And then what really started to piss me off is that they start talking about the explosive plays and all this other stuff. Now they talking about shit that don't count, which is asinine to me. You know, they have a lack of explosive plays. I don't know what explosive play is. That anything over 20 or 25 yards or whatever the fuck, because they've had a couple of those this year. If folks ain't paying attention to the stats like they say they do, they always run into the keyboard and start typing in all these different stats. And the Texans have had a few big plays. You know what I'm saying? They have. You know, I've sat here and watched these goddamn games. Yeah, they have had some plays of over 20, 25 yards. So I don't know what the hell you getting at with that. But they was like, the only big play they had in this game was that 50-yard busted coverage. That don't count. And this is coming from several different people. This ain't just one person or one channel or whatever the fuck that I heard they say that. This came from multiple. They scored a 50-yard goddamn touchdown. And because the Jacksonville Jaguars fucked off their coverage, that shit don't count. It don't count. That don't count. Jaguars had a busted coverage. They scored a touchdown on it. That don't fuck you mean that explosive play. That don't fucking count. This is coming out of grown men's mouth. Grown ass men. That don't count. A 50-yard goddamn touchdown don't count because he didn't catch the ball and run 50 yards with a motherfucker sitting on his goddamn back. You realize that people say shit and they don't realize how fucking stupid they sound when they say it? They so busy trying to be inflammatory and over-dramatize every goddamn thing, and you just end up saying stupid shit. You pay attention to what the fuck you say before you goddamn say it. At least catch the shit. A lot of times I say dumb shit. I catch the shit when I say it. Unless I say it on purpose. No, but they mean this shit that they be saying. Talking about that play don't count because it was a busted coverage. It's a lot of plays in the record books. It's because of busted coverages. You know, there's a lot of kickoff returns and punt returns that went for touchdowns because of busted coverage. Those don't count. You know what I'm saying? Those don't count. You know, the Texans had already played in two games where the touchdowns didn't really count. That one to Nick Chubb. Who the fuck was that? Was that against Tampa Bay? They was like, Tampa Bay let them score. That, that wasn't nothing. 25-yard run. That didn't count. The Tampa Bay let them score. 25 yards out. Same thing that happened with the Texans. The Texans supposedly let the Tampa Bay Buccaneers score their little touchdown or whatever. And I am not ignorant to the fact that that's a thing. Now, I hadn't seen that thing in many, many years. I haven't seen a let a motherfucker score thing happen in a long time. And I don't watch all the games, so it's a lot of stuff that I miss. I usually only watch the Texans. But like I say, I'm aware of that. But it's been a long time since I've seen it actually happen. Very long. I mean, I was probably a kid watching football last time I actually seen let a motherfucker score, so we got time to do whatever the fuck we gonna do. To have that shit happen twice this year with the Texans, them giving up one and them taking one. But I mean, that was a 25-yard run. That would be counted as the explosive play, but I guess that didn't count. I guess that didn't count. It's on the stat sheet. That don't count as explosive play. 25-yard TD run for Nick Chubb. You're fucked if they let them do it or not. So if you let a motherfucker score, it don't count. And if you fuck up and they score, it don't count. So what the Texans got to do to fucking win? Answer me that. Because once they actually start scoring, there's 2 touchdowns that they scored this year that just don't fucking count. As far as the popular media is fucking concerned. That don't count. They let them score. That don't count. They had a busted coverage. So, usually when you score a touchdown, it's because somebody on the other team fucked up. You know what I'm saying? That's usually how that works. If you score on the other team, it's usually because somebody else done fucked up. So your scores only work or only count in public if you score a touchdown and the defense makes no mistakes. Is that what I'm reading? Is that what they putting down that I am not picking up? Because that makes absolutely no damn sense to me. I don't know, man. And then you got, and I'm the one, and I said this right here in my last video. I was like, the Texans season is pretty much over with. And I think it is. Now, fucking 14 more games left in the season. It's a whole season left. It's 14 games left. It's a lot can happen in that time. Now, they have to like literally flip a switch because people are already penciling in losses and shit like that. Well, they got Tennessee coming. So, and I don't know why they would, most people I think know better than to just pencil in a goddamn victory there, even though they favored to win that game. And then they got Baltimore, whatever. And then we got Baltimore is not infallible. They can lose. You know what I'm saying? Now, they track record against the Texans is one goddamn thing, but they can fucking lose. And then the other, whoever they play after that. And I'm at this point right here with the Texans. I'm like, you got to take care of business with your divisional people. All the other games, I'm not really even concerned with. But you gotta play better against your goddamn divisional foes. That means this Tennessee game, you can't be fucking off with that. You gotta win that game. You're gonna have the Colts coming up twice. I don't know. I don't know much about the Colts. Because I don't know much about the people they done played against. Because you know how that shit go. You done seen teams start off 4-0, 5-0, and all of a sudden they start getting spanked in the middle of the season when they hit a certain part of their schedule. So I don't know about that. But all the division games usually be pretty tough. You know what I'm saying? They usually goddamn pretty tough. So you can't right past none of that. And that's my whole thing. And people's expectations are too damn high for this team. I said it. I said that this is not building on, at least with the offense. The defense is doing what the defense has been doing. But the offense, I said it. I say you not building on last year. And that's what a lot of people are, that's what their mind is right now. That the Texans are building on top of what they had last year. No, you starting over. That's what the expectations thing is warped. It's warped. You're not building off of what you had last year, even though last year sucked. You're not starting off of that foundation. No, you starting a whole new foundation. You got to build up from there. You're not starting at square 2 or square 3. You starting off at square fucking 1. And that's where a lot of people are getting shit mixed up. You're not starting at square 2 and 3. You starting off at square 1. You starting over. You got a whole new system in here. You got a whole new system in here. You're not building now. It'd be different if Bobby Slowick was still here. Then you building off of square 2, square 3, and trying to move on from that. But that ain't what happened. Y'all got him out of here, which was probably needed. You know, he had, other than some play calling issues or whatever, I don't think many people like the way he operate, you know, in the background, but off the field or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And you got another person in here whose personality is probably a little bit different, but we getting the same kind of results, which is what's hitting a lot of people the wrong way. Is that, man, this look a lot like last year. Like, yeah, it's looking a lot like last year, but that don't and it might be worse than last year. Because you got to think, last year we were missing a whole bunch of shit, talent-wise. Now, what we have this year, whether you want to admit it or not, is roster-wise is a lot better than what we had last year. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot better than what we had last year. But we still getting the same goddamn results. That's the issue. Because we were, even though I was one of the people who are like, man, if this is all you got as an offensive coordinator, you got to be able to work that shit and figure out a way for these guys to get open, work out a way for your offense to work with the people that you got. You know what I'm saying? Well, this year, I mean, it ain't no excuse in that regard because you got a better receiving room. I don't want to hear nothing about running backs. Because, first of all, we ain't running the ball worth nothing. And that's not a running back offensive line thing that I'm talking about. That's a play calling thing. If our running backs are averaging 4+ yards per carry, it don't matter if you only running the ball a handful of times a goddamn game. And they not breaking no big runs. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't running the ball worth nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I say, they opened up the game with three down passes and 3 and out. Usually be a run in there somewhere. And different type of runs is what they need to really get in. I did that in my last video, so I'm not going to go into all of that. But, you know, but we don't have that uh, that Joe Mixon thing going on where Joe Mixon is just hopping around the goddamn backfield like he walking on hot coals. Y'all know what the hell I mean. That's the most jump cutting this motherfucker I done seen. And every time you see this motherfucker, that's what the fuck he did. You know? And he got popped in the backfield a whole goddamn lot, which is something that ain't happening a whole lot right now because the people that we got that get the ball just usually go that way. You know what I'm saying? Because it's been a bunch of plays where I'm thinking that, all right, I think Mixon was supposed to go right there. And he was just like, nope, I'm going over here. And like sometimes it worked, sometimes it don't. Sometimes it don't. But we not calling the plays right. The play calling is sucky. It was sucky last year. You know what I'm saying? And everybody wants to start blaming CJ Stroud for shit. Well, I don't know what CJ Stroud is supposed to do. You know, you catch the ball, you do this shit right here, and then you do this shit right here. That's, you know, CJ Stroud gets decent time more times than not. It's just that not part comes at like the wrong time. And I can't even really say that because they do move the ball and they do make plays downfield. It's the penalties that usually get them. You move the ball downfield like you were supposed to do. You get first down and blah, blah, blah. You get on a nice long streak, get the ball down towards the red zone, and there's a penalty or something just waiting. There's a penalty or something just waiting to send you back another 10 yards and have you at first and 15 or second and 15 or some shit like that. And then that's where the shit just goes downhill from there. Whatever momentum that they usually get is usually killed by some kind of goddamn penalty. It's not that they wasn't moving the ball. It's that they was moving the ball until. And it's always until. And once they get that one penalty, false start, holding, or whatever the hell it is, they never recover from it. They never recover from it. If they moving and blah, 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 it's fine as long as they can keep on moving and keep on moving. As soon as that goddamn penalty hit, drive is over. You just hope that when that penalty hit, there was somewhere within field goal attempt range. And I heard somebody say something about Cammy Fairbairn and stuff like that. I'm like, that man is not going to hit all his field goals. He's not going to hit all his field goals. Don't even hop on the kicker. You know what I'm saying? If you want to hop on somebody, hop on a punter for having a fucked up game. How do you have a fucked up game as a punter and it ain't windy or some shit outside? You know, it's just like, why is your punts all fucked up? Ain't no breeze or no shit out here. Everybody out there sweating and hot. You know what I'm saying? You know, you look at the flags on the goalpost or whatever, them motherfuckers just hanging straight down. They not blowing and nothing. Why is your punts all fucked up? That's all you do. Now, as far as a field goal kick, you know, it's kind of the same thing, but it's just like I've seen that football do some weird ass shit after they didn't kicked it. It might be the same thing on a punt or some shit like that. Because, you know, you got this big bowl that you playing in. We not indoors. So if you punt the ball up so high, it could be air moving up past a certain point that ain't really moving down at the field level that can catch the ball and make it do other kind of shit. You know, everybody done seen, boom, they kick the ball for a field goal and the ball will go, hello, like a slider or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Where the fuck that come from? It happens. It fucking happens. You got a motherfucker kicking 50-yard field goals all the time. You ain't gonna hit them all. Hell, Cammy Fairbairn missed. He might have missed a couple fucking extra points last year. I know he missed one. So you ain't guaranteed to hit all or nothing. You just gotta hit most. Most. Not all. That most is a very high percentage of all, but still. It ain't like you say most, that could be fucking 51%. We all know that ain't gonna get you nowhere. But y'all know what the fuck I'm saying. Lay off the kicker. He gonna miss a few more times this year. You know what I'm saying? He gonna miss a few more times this year. So yeah, the best thing you can do is just keep him out of that situation where you kicking or depending on fucking 50-yard field goals to start with. And then you got folks that's starting to call for Nick Haley's job and shit like that. And I'm like, I've said this right here. He might be one and done. The way other people are talking, he might not even be one before he done. And I can see that. If they end up with a big offer, especially if they lose against the Titans. If they lose against the goddamn Titans, if they lose against the Titans and it's the offense fault, you know what I'm saying? You know, if the offense is performing the way it's been performing, because you got to remember, Tennessee beat the Texans last year, and Tennessee sucked just the way they do now. Tennessee sucked just the way they do now, but they managed to beat the goddamn Texans last year. So I say it ain't something you can just pencil in. I don't know, man. They're gonna have to fix something, because everybody already got a penciled in for a loss to, and that ain't gonna matter worth nothing. It ain't gonna even be as much as the loss. It's about how did the offense play? Did the offense do anything better? Like I said in my last video, I'm like, okay, when I watch these games, I see the offense do something different from what they did the last game. So they didn't go out there and implement the same shit. Now, they can come out there and run different plays, but have the same dookie-ass play calling strategy, which at that point it really don't matter. Like I said, I'm watching the goddamn game, and it's just whatever. They just look like they knew what they was for the run. They look, because all the little sideways passes, the little somewhat screens, and they was just on top of that shit. Wasn't even close to breaking none of that shit out. You know, not even close. It's just like, oh, they gonna be running a bunch of screens and shits in the flats this game. So we just gonna, and that's how they got that goddamn that's how they got that 50-yard touchdown. That's exactly how they got there. And they say they don't count because it was a busted play. Well, they thought that they was for to run some of that same shallow shit that they've been running, and he was gonna try to jump the goddamn route. And Nico took the fuck off. Boom, touchdown, 50 yards. But that didn't count. That didn't count. You know, that didn't count. You've been running some bullshit the whole game. They think you finna run some bullshit, and they try to, step up because he think he finna run up and get him a pick six. No. Bruh's heading up the goddamn field by itself. Because you tried to jump the route because they thought that they was going to keep running that shallow shit like they've been running. Just, whatever. I already talked about that. Stupid shit. Y'all need to just shut the hell up with that. But I see them doing different shit each game. If I see you doing different shit each game, I forgive a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I forgive a little bit. Now, if I see you running the same goddamn plays, and there's only so much I can see from watching TV on screen, like a lot of times I can't tell how many people go out in the route. They be like, well, you know, they did this and they ran this protection. Only 2 people went out in the route and shit like that. I heard a lot of that last year. I heard a whole lot of that. Only 2 people went out into a route last year. And I heard a whole bunch of it. What was that? It was the year before. That was when Lovie Smith was here. When it was like, it's, you know, where the announcers was like, it's only, you know, they running this, that, and the other, but it's only 2 people out in the routes. And they kept saying, I kept hearing that shit over and over again. It's only 2 people out in the routes. Well, that's why the offense sucked. You only got 2 people out running routes, but it's 4 or 5 people back there covering the shit. Maybe even 6. So when motherfucker roll to the sideline, ain't nowhere to throw the damn ball. You know, roll to the sideline, the quarterback got his hand in his, got the ball in his hand for 5 or 6 seconds. Ain't nobody to throw the ball to but some motherfucker on the goddamn bench. Because you got to throw it away. You know, that I get tired of hearing. And at this point, I've heard it from way too many, you know, for what, 1, 2, 4 years now. You know, only this many people out in the route, but you got 2 motherfuckers out there running a route against 4 or 5 defenders. Of course, ain't nobody to throw the ball to. You know what I'm saying? Of course. So what's now it's just to the point where it's like, okay, well, CJ Stroud, you got to take off running, and that's something that he need to do. You know what I'm saying? If you able to do it, you need to do it. Now, as protection, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's you got to take what they give you and try to keep from taking any unnecessary goddamn hits. You know, you get your yards and go down, that type of thing. You in for to have him out there like Josh Allen, because Josh Allen will slide, but Josh Allen will also run your ass over. I've seen him do it, which is quite funny. But he's a big ass dude. These quarterbacks aren't small people. Not all of them. Some of them are. Some of them are, but a lot of these quarterbacks, they not small people. They not small people. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want them out there taking hits and shit like that. But yeah, he got to be able to get up the field and take those little yards, which he does. I'm not for to sit here and say like he doesn't. It ain't always available. It ain't always available. It ain't like I'm sitting here watching. I'm like, all you had to do was just step up in the pocket. It was wide the fuck ass open. Yeah, you can't fucking see that if your ass is in the goddamn pocket getting chased. But I do see him when he do that little spin around to the left thing that he does all the time. I've seen him do that shit prematurely. You know, and when they mention, you know, he bailing out the pocket early and all kind. I've seen him do that. I'm like, you want to do that spin out when a dude is like right here, because I've seen him do that spin out and loop around and loop around into the motherfucker that he was trying to loop around, because he felt the pressure, and you feel the pressure and you just do the move. You know what I'm saying? It's like you do a crossover. But it ain't nobody in front of you. And you crossing over and break. You go boom, boom. And the defender not even in front of you. You just crossing over to be crossing over. And you crossing over. And right into the motherfucker that's you supposed to be moving. But he right there. Just I know how to play basketball, but I ain't no crossover dude. I was a center. I ain't crossing shit. I try to do a crossover. They gonna give me for carrying a double dribble or some weird ass shit. I can't dribble like that. Hit your ass with a hook shot, but that's about it. Yeah, but I've noticed that. I'm like, ah. But at that point, once you start feeling that goddamn pressure like that, what can you do? Because I mean, you can't see everything. And people keep saying this, you got to do this, you got to do that. You can't see every goddamn thing. You got to feel the pressure. You know? By the time you feel the pressure, your ass is getting wrapped up. You know what I'm saying? They be talking about motherfuckers supposed to be doing shit like they got rear view cameras in their fucking helmets and shit. No. Motherfuckers don't see that shit. And say you gotta feel it and blah blah blah. I don't know. I didn't play quarterback. I didn't spend a lot of time in the backfield. I don't know what that's like. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I was a tight end. I was a running back for a while. Still ain't got to deal with that. You know? So I ain't never just standing there with motherfuckers running at me where I gotta be able to be like, oh, at the last minute and shit. You know what kind of goddamn bullfighting bullshit that is? You sitting there, back there like this, and you got a bullfight motherfucker, because you got a motherfucker coming, and you got to olay that motherfucker some kind of goddamn way, and he ain't usually the only motherfucker coming, and you still got to keep your eyes upfield, try to see who the fuck is open you can dish the ball to. You know how long you got to be dealing with that shit for the game to slow down? For the game to slow down to the point where that shit don't bother you a lot. Usually it's beyond college. You know what I'm saying? You got to be in the league for some years, and you have to be going through that. You got to be going through it. If you've been playing in the league for 10 years and you had a super ass offensive line in front of you where you ain't had to deal with that shit, and all of a sudden you on a team where the offensive line ain't all that great, and all of a sudden you got to deal with this pressure coming at you. You ain't equipped for that shit because you ain't had to do it. You had the benefit of a great ass offensive line in front of you that kept motherfuckers off your ass, and you probably been putting up Hall of Fame numbers all them years. But as soon as you get to, motherfucker, you out of your element. You know what I'm saying? You might know all the theory of this shit, but knowing the theory of this shit and being able to actually do something is two totally different goddamn things. Two totally different things. So, CJ is going to have to see and deal with this pressure for a little bit, because he going to have this offensive line in front of him for a while. This offensive line ain't going nowhere. They might get a little bit better, but they're not going nowhere. So, and you're going to be running up against, good defenses or good defensive players all year. So it's going to be somebody coming after you. You're going to time in the seat. At some point, it's going to slow down for him. It's going to take time. Like I said, people's expectations for this goddamn Texans team is way out of whack. I'm knocking shit over. It's way out of whack. Yeah, way out of whack. Because people got Super Bowl expectations for this team. Some people got Super Bowl expectations for this team. Well, maybe not now, 0-3 start, but that's where their mind was. And you got to think about the shit like this. Those, whatever happened last year and the year before that, all the accolades, the playoff wins, the division titles, that don't mean nothing. It don't. That don't mean nothing. That shit happened last year. You don't carry that with you until next year. That has no bearing on what you do this year. Actually, it does, because the better you do, the harder your schedule is to some degree. So you do carry some of it with you, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, you do carry some of it with you because you come in the next year and your schedule difficulty might be up there a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, but as far as just what you need to accomplish, that don't change. People like, I'm sick of, we need to look past getting a division, and just making the playoffs. Winning the division ain't, nah. Well, that need to be your first goddamn goal. Your first goal needs to be, excuse me, your first goal need to be, okay, we need to, you're going to try to win all your games regardless. The second goal is we need to knock out our division. You know what I'm saying? AFC games and divisional games, we need to, those games, you need those. You know what I'm saying? You need those. Then, winning the division. That should be on the goal for that season. Don't be looking past the shit like, yeah, we ain't never made an AFC championship game. Who the fuck cares? If you don't make the playoffs, it don't fucking matter. You're not going to make nothing. So, you need to, you win your goddamn divisional games, and you try to win as many as you try to do your damnedest to win all the rest of your games, especially the AFC games, your conference games. Because at the end of the year, if you having a decent year and you ain't up in your goddamn division, because you don't know if somebody else in your division gonna be having a wonderful year too. At least you have playoff hopes from a wild card. And then you go from there. And people say, they want to look past the little divisional, the division titles and all this other stuff, but you need that. You need that. You tired of getting it? Well, don't get it. Don't get it this year. Don't get it this year and be like, yeah, a division title would look real goddamn good right now. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get to the playoff. You don't want to win the division and then win some playoff wild card game and then lose in the next round after that. You was in the playoffs. You had a shot. That's what you should be looking forward to. You had a shot. You had a shot. You made it to the playoffs. You have, at that point, you got a chance to do whatever it is you want to do. It's a whole nother season. You start scratch from there. No matter how you get in, whether it's divisional or wild card. What you did the previous year don't mean shit. It don't mean nothing. That's your goal for this year. Fuck whatever expectations you got going to the Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. Because they'll tell you that shit. You know what I'm saying? Which is dumb as hell. Super Bowl or bust. The only thing I'm looking forward to is the Super Bowl. If we don't make the Super Bowl, then the season was a failure. You're a goddamn lie. It was a failure. Your bank account don't say that. I tell you that. I bet you ain't saying your season is a goddamn failure if you get all the way to the end of the season, you don't win a Super Bowl, and they take all their fucking money back. Then you tell me that the season is a goddamn failure. Yeah, you can. All right, everybody, we didn't make the playoffs, so that didn't meet our expectations. So everybody got to give us all that money back. Good luck next year. Yeah. Now, I don't want to hear that season was a failure bullshit. It wasn't. People's expectations are too goddamn high. It is. It's too goddamn high. You gotta crawl before you walk. Every goddamn year you start in OTAs and all this other stuff and blah, blah, blah. And then you build on that. You build on that until you get where you gotta go, until you have to start over. You know what I'm saying? Or for whatever reason, motherfuckers, free agency or motherfuckers retire and all kind of, all that shit happens. Sometimes you got to blow the goddamn team up because, motherfuckers might not want to be there or everybody make too much goddamn money and you got to be like, well, all right, shit, fuck it. You got to start over. Fuck it. But that's it. Even then, you got, well, let's win week 1. Let's win week 2. Divisional game come up. Y'all know what it is when we hit these divisional games. You know, you want to get then once you get to that point, then your goals can start changing to where you like, okay, we got to this point in the season and we happy where we at. So our next goal is positioning. All right, we trying to get to a 2 seed. We want to get the 1 seed, so we get the bye or whatever the fuck, okay, but you got to get up there first. You gotta start accomplishing the shit that you need to accomplish before, and that's winning your goddamn divisional games and your AFC game and your conference games. You gotta start with that, and then you move up forward. People, please keep your goddamn expectations in line with what the fuck is going on. Is it raining outside? Huh, it was raining outside. How you love that? Yeah, so that's about it with that shit. Like I said, I ain't really got, I talked about the Texans yesterday. As far as shit that went on in the game and stuff like that, I already talked about that. This is some external shit outside of football that I wanted to talk about, because a lot of people in the media are just being inflammatory and just hyperbolic for just no goddamn, well, I can't say for no reason. It's because that's usually what gets people eyeballs and views and stuff like that. But for me, it's the opposite. You know what I'm saying? I started getting that kind of vibe from people, and motherfuckers is overly upset over something that don't really matter about anything. I cut it off. You know what I'm saying? I cut it off because I'm just like, okay, this is dumb. This is dumb. And I hop on here on, the days of the game, after the game go off, do my little shit. And I go off on shit. And that's like right after the game. I start my Talking Texans videos literally less than 2 or 3 minutes after from the time it takes for me to turn off my Hulu and set my phone up. That's it. That's how long it is before I start recording. So everything, I'm just right off the top of my head. I'm just going at it. And usually right after the game, you're gonna be a little bit spicy with you're gonna be a little bit spicy with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not working for no media company or no shit like that, so I can say what the hell I want to say, and I ain't offending nobody, because ain't nobody worth any importance is probably gonna see my videos at all, so it really don't matter. I can sit on here and call D'Amico Ryans a doo-doo head. Like, oh, doo-doo head. He won't ever fucking find out. I hope. I can't fight D'Amico Ryans. I'm old and skinny. Whoop my ass. But I only seen one person mention that barking that he was doing on the video on the sideline. I still don't know exactly what that was from. Come on, light. I ain't got all day. I still don't know exactly what that was about. I heard somebody say that it was and this light want to start acting stupid. That means it's time for me to stop recording. That he was fussing at Nick Caley about the tempo, the offense. I think he wanted more tempo with the offense. And like I said, I couldn't tell, because they weren't like really near each other. But you can tell that D'Amico was going at it at somebody, and this is just what I heard watching videos, that he was barking about the tempo of the offense. He wanted more tempo and shit, because offense was probably dragging ass when they needed to be moving. And it made sense, but if you put the shit together, because they had the camera on him and then they had the camera on Nick Caley. They didn't seem like they was nowhere close to each other. And Nick Caley seemed like I said, he looked like he was looking in his little menu and just He didn't look like he was having a conversation with D'Amico Ryans. It could be because D'Amico was barking, and then you got Nick Caley was just like. So yeah, but I was just glad to see that because I ain't never seen that before out of D'Amico Ryans, and I just wish that because a lot of people didn't even catch that. That's not something that lingered on TV for a long ass time. You would have to have been looking at. You would have to catch that in that moment because didn't nobody go back and clip that and play it again and no shit like that. You would have to have eyeballs on the TV as that was happening at that moment. And some people saw it, a lot of people didn't. I've been watching stupid ass podcasts of it, and very few people have even mentioned it. So, because I wanted to know the deets on that at all, and of course, that's not something that's going to be addressed in a. That's not something that's going to be addressed in a. At the podium, you know what I'm saying? And any credential person would probably know not to even ask him about that. Some people probably would, but I think most of the ones, especially the ones I watch, wouldn't even. They're like, I'm not even touching that. Because you already know you're not finna get no answer at all. And at that point, you're just poking the bear. You just for to piss D'Amico Ryans off for no reason at all. You know what I'm saying? You just for to piss him off for no reason at all. Just like, you know what? We just gonna let that go. So, what time is it? 11:37. All right, let me get ready to get my ass up out of here. This is my video for today. I'm gonna catch y'all a little bit later. Actually, probably not. I won't be recording no other videos probably till this weekend. So, I'll catch y'all and I'll see you when I see you. I'm out of here, man.